At one time it was thought that we were the good housekeeping seal of approval, but that somehow seems rather presumptuous, where you pick something up and pronounce it good or not. I think we do have a definite view that we very much admire the artistry that goes into creating the product in the first place, and we'd like to have a hand in seeing that people can see maybe what we saw early on or what the producers saw early on. So I think that is the key thing.
THX first started after Episode 4, which is Star Wars: A New Hope by George Lucas, and his problem was that he felt that the art that he created wasn't represented correctly in a movie theatre, and so he hired someone to go out and find out why that was. The findings were the movie theatres back then were using pretty much 40-year-old technology. You could hear the noise from adjacent theatres, the viewing angles weren't right, the equipment was very old, archaic, mono, distorting, etc. So he created a program named after his first movie, which was THX 1138.
In the big picture, sound is completely subjective. And that's a beautiful thing, and it's a terrible thing. It's a terrible thing because it's very hard to create a standard. It's very hard to say, well, this is right and this is wrong, because it's all subjective. At the same time, well, there is no wrong answer. Creatively, you can do anything, you can try anything. You can make things as loud or as soft as you want within any given context, and it's not really wrong. I mean, we are talking about film as an art form.
So when a movie is mixed, the mixing room is essentially a miniature movie theatre, and the sound is made at a certain loudness. That same soundtrack is then put onto content, whether it be a download or a DVD or a Blu-ray or any kind of content delivery, and then the idea is to play it back again as the director intended. So we have adapted that reference level concept into the home. So when you calibrate your home theater system, as long as it's all THX, you'll notice that the volume control on a THX receiver or preamp is a little bit different. It has a 0 position, and that 0 position represents reference level.
You push the THX button, that's what we think is the best. Well, it's not the best way of presenting it. That's what was heard when it was originally done. If you're interested in knowing, fine. If you need to change it to suit your taste, then be our guest. But at least you can go back to the original.
I'd like to believe that if the consumer is buying equipment that has the grade A stamp of approval of THX, that they are getting the track and the picture to play the way that the filmmaker really intended it to play. That's really the goal of all this, is consistency from the filmmaker through to manufacturing out into the consumer.
I think sound mixers, sound engineers appreciate the work that we do at THX because they know that their art is going to be reproduced correctly. It's an unknown world. Once it leaves their hands, they don't know whether it's going to be played back on a little boombox or, you know, $100,000 million home theater equipment experience. So they really have no idea, but they know that if we're involved, then they will be able to play back their art as intended that they created.